What's up, coaster fans? Time for another video. This year I've been very fortunate to hit a handful of new parks and old parks, so we're going to look at the new to me credits of 2021. We're going to start with the Wild Mouse at Dorney Park at number 15. This is your standard run-of-the-mill Wild Mouse. It's a great ride for families. It's not super crazy. It's got some excitement in it, but it's your average Wild Mouse. We're going to pick it up with Hurricane at Fun Spot Kissimmee. This is an EF Miler, and if you haven't heard of them, it's because they're known more so for kiddie coasters. It's a very picturesque roller coaster. It's got a good first drop and a bit of ejector in it. It is a little janky, as it kind of looks that way. If you want to learn more about this coaster, Canobie Coaster has a great review about it, and I will leave a link to that in the description. At number 13 is Galaxy Spin at Fun Spot Kissimmee. This is a Zamperla spinning mouse. Fairly standard. You have these at a lot of smaller parks. Fun rides if you go on, like I did with someone who doesn't ride coasters often, and they freak out the whole time. At number 12 is Thunderhawk at Dorney Park. This is a PTC Woody that's going to turn 100 years old in 2027. This is a very solid Woody. I think it's smooth given its age. Max speed of 45 miles per hour, and has an 80-foot tall hill with a 65-foot first drop. Good coaster. Hopefully Dorney has a more modern Woody in the future. Number 11 is going to be a controversial one. This is the Myrtle Turtle at the Myrtle Beach Pavilion inside Broadway at the beach. Okay, so how does an SBF Visa crack number 11 compared to the rides previously mentioned? It's who you go with. I've turned my nephew into a coaster junkie, and all he's been on is this and 2 kiddie coasters. So being able to finally go on a coaster with him is the main reason this coaster gets bumped up, in my opinion. They're solid family rides. They're great intermediate stepping stone when going up the coaster ladder as you go to bigger ones, but for me, it's who I got to ride it with that brings this up top. Cracking into the top 10 is Impulse at Knoebles. This Zier coaster has a 98-foot tall first hill with a 90-degree drop and a max speed of 55 miles an hour. I think this is a great ride for the park it's in, as it's the only big steel coaster at Knoebles. I think it also has a really good layout. The only complaint I have about this thing is it is a bit on the shorter side, and my experience, the lap bars did heighten during the ride, which for me wasn't a deal breaker, but for some it could be. Number 9, we have Twister, also at Knoebles. This was an in-house coaster modeled after the Twister at Elitch Gardens. This is a very great ride. Has a lot of laterals, especially if you're in the back row, and if you're not prepared for it, it can throw you off guard and make it a little bit of a rough ride. It's got a great layout as it intertwines the mega structure. At number 8, we have Possessed at Dorney Park, the park's Intamin Impulse. These are the last of a dying breed. You don't see these every day. It has a powerful launch at 70 miles an hour up to 180-foot tall spikes. I recommend riding this in the front row and the back row. They're very different experiences. In the front, you get to look at how high you're going up those spikes, especially the twisting one, or in the back, when you're on the vertical one, staring down at the ground. I personally like these coasters better than a Boomerang, so that's why this ranks a little bit higher on my list. At number 7, we have Talon, the B&M invert at Dorney Park. I think this is a good middle-of-the-road B&M invert. It's got great sense of speed at 58 miles an hour, a very good first half with 3 of the inversions right off the get-go. My personal favorite part of this ride is the low-to-the-ground turn at the very end. You're literally feeling like you're going to kick the people on the pathway nearby, or the shrubs, or the ground. It's just incredible, and this ride's signature element, in my opinion. Number 6, we have Manta at SeaWorld Orlando. This was not my first flying coaster. That unfortunate honor goes to Time Warp at Canada's Wonderland. I've also done Firehawk and Nighthawk at Kings Island and Carowinds respectively. I've hit one other B&M flyer, and that's Tatsu at Six Flags Magic Mountain. That was several years ago. I forgot how powerful these are, how it glides through the sky, the craziness of a pretzel loop, which is half the reason why I only got one ride on this. It took me out for about 20 minutes afterwards. The setting on this thing is beautiful. The layout, great. You really do feel like you're gliding over the sky. And you can't talk about this ride without talking about the low to the ground turn with the water element jets. It's a phenomenal moment and a phenomenal ride. Going into the top 5 now, we're going to start with Hydra The Revenge at Dorney Park, the park's B&M floorless coaster. This is a very unique, to say the least, floorless coaster. Starting off with a JoJo roll, which is a 0G roll right off the gate that flips you upside down and leaves you with some crazy hang time. Next up, it had something I wasn't even expecting for this type of coaster. On most B&M hypers, you get what I call the B&M airtime first drop, which is a bit of floater as you go down. Well, this 90-foot tall, 105-foot first drop on this coaster had just that. And I got that on almost all of my rides on the ride, except for the first one. And I was not expecting it. This thing also has a crazy, unique layout, like this very squeezed Cobra roll. This is a very good ride, and definitely the solid number 2 in this park. At number 4, we have Mind Blower at Fun Spot Kissimmee. This Gravity Group Woody is a very photogenic ride, and the signature ride of Fun Spot Kissimmee. This thing has crazy ejector throughout the layout, crazy laterals. It does have a little bit of roughness, but nothing you can't handle. It's very photogenic, and who could not talk about this ride without talking about the crazy inversion that this ride is known for? Very solid ride. At number 3, we have Phoenix at Knoebles, a PTC Woody relocated to the park in the mid-1980s. To quote Chris from Airtime Thrills, this ride was literally built and only exists for airtime. With nothing but a buzz bar, there's hills, double ups, double downs, and 2 long, drawn-out turns through the layout. This ride has a crazy operation, and if you want to learn more about that, check out ElToroRyan's video. I'll leave a link in the description. My only complaint is the Amusement Today Golden Ticket Awards give this ride such high praise as the best wooden coaster in the world. While I agree this ride is elite, I don't think this is number 1. Number 2, we have Steel Force at Dorney Park, a Morgan hypercoaster. A lot of people call this Steel Forceless. I had nothing but force on this ride. I had airtime. While it wasn't the greatest airtime I've ever had, when you ride a ride with the expectation of not having any, and you get it, it blows your mind. I think this would have been a little bit stronger and a better ride if the mid-course wasn't so harsh. This ride has got a very long ride time, solid airtime, and it has a 200-foot tall hill with a 205-foot drop at 75 miles an hour. This is definitely a good hyper coaster. The number 1 new to me credit of 2021 is Mako at SeaWorld Orlando, Central Florida's tallest coaster at 205 foot tall, with a 200-foot drop, 73 miles an hour. This ride has airtime, floater, and ejector. Those B&M trains are some of my favorite. I would kill to have one as a desk chair. Also, it was nice to ride one without a seat belt. I'm talking to you, Cedar Fair. This ride has a great sense of speed and is a perfect fit for this park. The finale is crazy, where you feel like you could touch the park's central lagoon or high five people on the pathways. Who would have thought the first roller coaster ride of the year would be the number 1 ride of the year? Definitely not me. I'd like to thank you guys for checking out this video and joining me as we look back at the coaster season of 2021's new credits across 5 different parks. I'd like to thank you all for watching, and please like and subscribe for more coaster and theme park content in the future, and we'll see you guys next time.